You ready,
See, I
Jasmine?
didn't look at it
I'm
because
ready.
I could have made it.
I think that this might the last one I struggled, but I think this one I might do good.
No, you didn't struggle. I thought you did well.
I was having a
I don't
hard.
know how hard these are gonna be because I think last time I said for an elementary school kid, and I don't know that he put that on there. I think he just we're just getting questions.
Woo.
So it could be easy or it could be hard. We about to find out.
They're gonna ask about some of them names from chapter 5
They
and
better
10 that
not.
y'all ain't read.
OMG. Please.
They gonna ask us what order stuff happened in Genesis
Man.
chapter 1. This is not open notes either. Lock your answers in quickly.
OMG. I was pulling up. I was pulling stuff.
She trying to cheat. This is the quiz, pop quiz.
Okay.
Got
I'll
it?
put it away.
All right. Y'all ready? Question number 1. Let's go.
What's going on? XYZ is XYZ Nation. We back in the building doing what it is that we do. Generational scriptures. I feel like I should be on the radio.
You
Like
should.
like a DJ. I don't have a bunch of those sayings. Bringing you Bible scriptures across the land. The high, the low, the good, the bad. God's always good. Man's always trying to strive. But here we are on 95.639, bringing you all that we got from the Word of God.
You about to break
Generational
Toby over
scriptures is up
here.
next.
He
Huh?
don't never laugh or nothing. He's about to crack.
That's how I know I'm funny. I don't care what
um,
anybody says. No, I'm joking. But it is great to have everyone with us again as we get to our wrap up for the season. Season 3. Wow, 3 seasons, y'all. Will be in the books with this wrap up, this outro video. Man, that's crazy. But before we even get to all the sentimental stuff, we got to introduce ourselves. So I am the latchkeyed one himself, the former X-Man representing Gen X all up in the area. You know how we do. Chris, and next to me we have, or up in the left corner, we have.
I am Moya, the resident millennial.
Da-da-da-da. And then in the right side, I don't know my right from my left. Sorry, y'all. On the right side, we have.
I'm Jasmine, your microwaver.
Yay, yay.
And together we are
Generational
Generation
Generational
scriptures.
scriptures.
Woo! How was that, Toby? You like that? You like that, didn't you? See? See? We know we got something cooking over here. All right. So, we got segments now. We all big, we grown, we maturing. I don't want to say we adulting yet. We're like in freshman year of college,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Does that sound about right? So we
yeah.
got segments. And the segment that we have going on today is by Miss Moyo in the eye. So boom. Do the recap of chapter 11.
All right, recap of chapter 11. The last couple seasons we were doing random recaps, so I really like that we've been kind of consistent with the recap this time, so that's nice. Anyways, chapter 11, we were talking about the Tower of Babel. So it starts off with the people have one language and they're basically all together trying to make a name for themselves. They find this land, they decide to build a city and a tower to reach to the heavens. In that episode, we talk about what that could mean, and the different interpretations that we've heard in the past of what it means for them to build that tower. So definitely go back and watch that. So, as they're building up to try to get to the heavens, God comes down to see what these little people doing down here, and he basically tells them, well, he says, "Let us." go ahead and confuse their language. Let's mix it up down here. So that's exactly what he does.
Mhm.
The people just stop building the city because you can't build in this sort of confusion. And they actually decide, well, they don't decide, they are forced to scatter based on, the the new languages and those type of things. So now
Mhm.
people are divided in a different type of way than they've been in the past. So it's not just the family groups. We now have what we discussed in chapter 10, the nations, the clans, the cultures, all of that starting to form because
Mhm.
of this division. Then we get to genealogy. So we go from Shem to Abram, 10 generations. And there's probably some stuff to pull out of there, but again, go back and watch to see everything that we talked about there. And then we get to Terah's line, his son Haran dies. So we
Mhm.
have Abram and Nahor. Both of them have wives, but then Terah just takes Abram, Sarah, Lot, and they're supposed to be traveling to Canaan,
Yep.
but they end up stopping in Haran, but not the son, just a city that has the same name by chance because we don't have enough names yet. So they name everything the same thing. And yeah, he dies there and that's how it ends. We
Yeah.
stop right there.
Yep. Yeah. That's it.
That's chapter 11.
That's chapter 11. All right, so boom. All wrapped up, nice and neat. So I guess this is becoming a tradition because we have feel like we need music. It's like da 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 or da 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 or I don't know something because the dreaded quiz is coming. Well, so last time,
Dreaded.
right? That's I'm about to try and correct myself. We had the "Are you smarter than a fifth grader?" quiz last time, and last time me and Jasmine were subjected to the quiz. Moyo
Rejected.
got to sit back and laugh at us when we got things wrong.
To
This
sit
time,
back and read a lot.
I mean, come on, that wasn't that bad, was it?
It's a lot of reading. So it's fine.
Well, this time you don't have to read, but
Mhm.
we all gonna be answering questions together. And so, how
Okay.
does this work in Moyo? We've got questions from chapters 1 through 11 of Genesis,
That's what you have, right?
and
There should be multiple choice. So I have my nephew over here, Toby. He's going to
Big
read the
Toe.
questions. He's going to read the questions and the choices. Then we're going to write our answers, show our answers, and then he's going to tell us the answer once we all lock in our
Okay,
answers.
Okay.
all right.
All right.
So you
Okay.
all at home, I think we said this last time too. Take the quiz with us. If you've been rocking
Yes.
with us all season, this is a chance for all of us to see our collective knowledge.
Mhm.
You ready,
See, I
Jasmine?
didn't look at it
I'm
because
ready.
I could have made it.
I think that this might the last one I struggled, but I think this one I might do good.
No, you didn't struggle. I thought you did well.
I was having a
I don't
hard.
know how hard these are going to be because I think last time I said for an elementary school kid, and I don't know that he put that on there. I think we're just getting questions.
Woo.
Mm,
So it could be easy or it could be hard. We about to find out.
They're gonna ask about some of them names from chapter five
They
and
better
10 that
not.
y'all ain't read.
OMG. Please.
They gonna ask us what order stuff happened in Genesis
Man.
chapter 1. This is not open notes either. Lock your answers in quickly.
OMG. I was pulling up. I was pulling stuff up.
She trying to cheat. This is the quiz, pop quiz.
Okay.
Got
I'll
it?
put it away.
All right. Y'all ready? Question number 1. Let's go.
What did God create on the first day?
Ooh, what? Okay, what are the options?
A. Land and plants. B. Light. C. Animals. D. The sun and the moon.
Hmm.
That's all the options?
Yes.
I'm ready.
I'm locked
Wait, say
in.
the options again. I said lock your answers in. I don't even know. Okay, say the options again. A.
See, Jasmine,
Land and
we got
plants.
Okay,
experience with
B.
this.
Mm.
Light.
I'll go with that. Okay, ready? Lock your answers in. Okay, cool. What's the answer?
B. Light.
All right.
Here we go.
One, one
One
down.
down.
Question number two.
Everybody, keep your score.
It was created on the sixth day.
Oh my goodness.
Jeez.
The 6th day?
The
Oh, I know, I
sixth
know, I
day.
know. Go ahead.
This
Question.
one.
A. Birds and fish. B. Trees and herbs. C. Humans and land animals. D. The firmament.
What's D?
The firmament.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Wait, oh my gosh, hold on. Can I get the options one more time?
A. Birds and fish. B. Trees and herbs. C. Humans and land animals. And D. The firmament.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right.
Boom.
Yeah,
Yay.
okay.
You scared
All
me
right,
for a second,
next.
Jasmine.
I scared myself. Oh my gosh.
What was the name of the first man created by God?
You did chapters 1 to 11.
Yes.
They asking a lot about this. Oh, I guess it's not the first. Okay,
Right.
go ahead. This. What are the options? We know the answer, but well, we
You
should.
mean his name's Toby, right?
His name is Steve. Remember?
Oh, Steve. That's right.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
A. Noah. B. Abel. C. Adam. D. Seth.
All right.
You
Lock
ready?
in.
Adam, there you go. She wrote it down like y'all.
I know that one.
All right, next.
Where did God place the man after creating him?
Mm.
A. Canaan. B. The Garden of Eden. C. The Ark. D. Mount Sinai.
Can I get the options again?
Girl.
Please.
A. Canaan. B. The Garden of Eden. C. The Ark. D. Mount Sinai.
Okay.
You ready? Turn
Ready?
around.
Okay.
Desmond.
we haven't even got to the arc and stuff yet.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Ooh.
goodness.
Cause I was remembering back when, remember it was like, okay, God created him, but he wasn't in the Garden of Eden when he was created. He was put into the Garden of Eden. So I was like, okay, wait, which one? Like, what was it? Okay, good. We good.
Okay, next.
What tree, what tree were Adam and Eve forbidden to eat from? A. The tree of life. B. The tree of knowledge of good and evil. C. Fig tree. D. Olive tree.
Should have put apple tree in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That would have got people.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Maybe.
Flip them. Boom. There we go.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just going to answer B or C right now
All
before
Uh-huh.
right, go ahead.
I got a 50% chance.
Tempted Eve to eat the forbidden fruit. A. An angel. B. Adam. C. The serpent. D. Cain.
See, I got it right. I didn't even have to. I just put something down.
Ready.
Ready?
Yep. Why does that keep happening?
Okay,
Okay.
next question.
What was the name of Adam and Eve's first son?
Mm.
A. Seth. B. Cain. C. Abel. D. Enoch.
Oh, snap. Hold on.
We should have made this not multiple choice to make it harder.
Yeah.
Whew. Okay.
I mean, we can still do that.
Okay. Ken, what was B and C again? I'm sorry. I need to make sure I get it
It
right.
was Cain. C is Abel.
Okay.
All right.
Ready.
Flip it. What did you do?
Wait,
What, Abel?
no. C was Cain?
B is Cain. C is
Oh
Abel.
no. Okay. I was still right because I swapped them. I was thinking Cain, and I thought he said C was Cain.
Okay. We believe you.
All right.
If you say so,
I promise.
we trust you. I
Next
don't know.
question.
Toby's our scorekeeper. What do you say, Toby? We need a ruling.
Does she get that point? She said C. And you repeated the question.
Oh.
Jeez. What are you doing?
I don't
Oh.
like to lose.
I see.
Can't
Fine.
let the babies win. Then they'll be like, I won, I won.
Oh gosh.
Fine. All right, next.
Don't let me get a question wrong. I'm gonna be like, no, I meant.
Uh,
What
uh,
was the
uh,
name
uh,
of Adam and Eve's? What did Cain do to his brother Abel? A. Blessed him. B. Ignored him. C. Killed him. D. Sold him.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
All right, ready? There we go. I got it.
They are doing just B's and C's though.
Yeah. So all right, so let's make this more interesting. No more multiple choice. You just gotta write
Okay.
down the answer.
Just gotta write your answer.
Okay.
All
Okay. So
right.
you just read the question without the multiple choice.
Cause I'm just gonna start picking B and C.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, come on, chat. Y'all better you better than that.
They made ours hard the last time. It had none of the above, all of the above. Or
Hmm.
was that the kids test? That might have been the kids one.
May have been the kids.
Okay, question.
What's next?
Toby said
Hey,
it's about to get hard, so we can tap out if it gets too hard and go back to multiple choice, but
man,
we
we
gonna
we
try
got
first.
this. We got this.
All right,
Okay.
let's go.
Why did God flood the earth in Noah's time?
Why did God flood the earth? Does our answer have to match what they wrote?
I don't think it needs to
Exactly.
be. It doesn't have to be exact.
Let's be same.
He said it has to be the same meaning.
Okay.
Y'all writing a lot,
Okay.
You ready?
I
Mm-hmm.
guess.
Flip it. Evil
To
to give the earth
give.
the rest. I said
What
man
did
was
you
wicked.
put?
No, it says to give
Man
Earth.
was wicked.
It's a
What did you?
reset.
What's
Oh,
wait? A
reset.
reset? A reset.
Yeah.
Oh. I wrote evil. You wrote
Man was wicked.
man was wicked. What's the answer?
All of you are correct.
All of us are correct.
Because of man's wickedness.
Because of man's wickedness.
Boom.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know, man. I don't know about to give the earth a reset.
That's what it was. Y'all not gonna play. Y'all not gonna play.
What did Noah build in obedience to God?
I can't spell. Does spelling count?
It
I
should.
think you,
He said it should.
I think that's how you spell it.
You ready?
Yep.
Ready.
An arc.
An
I
arch.
I would have lost points on spelling.
Oh man.
Y'all got the
That's
point.
right. Right. All right. That's not too bad yet.
Nope.
What's next?
How many of each kind of clean animal did Noah bring into the ark?
Ooh.
Clean animal.
Number this question.
How many of each type of clean animal? Am I thinking too deep?
I got my answer. I hope it's right.
Like my answer's wrong, but I'll go with it.
You ready?
Yep.
Boom.
Dang it! They said 7 pairs. What's the answer? 7 pairs?
The answer is 7 pairs.
7 pairs. Look at that. I was gonna
Mm-hmm.
write that, but I was like, am I thinking too deep?
It's like you.
Uh-uh.
I didn't know whether when you said that whether you were like on seven or you were trying to go back to two.
I was that no, I was on 7, but I was like, I might be thinking too deep. Like maybe all these animals were clean.
Mm.
And remember, he
Now I'm
needed
now
to
I'm down a point too, man. Can't let
Mm.
Chris
he
win.
needed to give him up at the altar. Some of the
Yeah.
clean animals he sacrificed.
Okay, what's the next one?
All right, five more. Right.
Is it? I wasn't keeping score.
What was the sign of God's covenant with Noah?
Mm.
Ooh, I ran out of space, but y'all can see.
Ready?
Okay.
Flip it.
Wait.
A bow, not a rainbow. It was just a bow.
Okay. I was about to say.
A rainbow.
Not the
Mm-mm.
same thing.
What's the answer?
See rainbow.
It say
It's a
rainbow.
rainbow.
Actually, it said
Nah, that's
rainbow.
wrong.
I
You
I
going by
I
the word of
saw
God.
it says bow.
It says bow.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's the next one?
What were the names of Noah's 3 sons?
Ooh,
Ooh. Now
ooh.
this spelling better not count. Oh, my text is too big. Hold on.
Noah's son. Wait, hold on. Wait.
Got it.
Okay. I hope this is
We
it.
got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Everybody good? All right, flip it.
Wait, you
There you
can't
go.
see it. Can y'all
Flip it.
see?
No,
Uh-uh.
not
Oh
really.
man, what happened?
I don't
I
know.
changed it to be lighter ink, but I have Shem, Ham, and Japhet.
Okay,
Toby
I
can
can
vouch.
vouch for you.
We'll take your word.
Take your word for it.
All right, next.
Next.
What was humanity trying to build in Genesis 11 that displeased God?
Oh gosh.
Chris is writing a book.
You ready?
Ready.
Yep.
Yeah, same thing. We all did the same thing.
Okay.
Even though I
Okay.
got an
What's
issue
the
with that
answer?
question
Uh-oh.
because I don't know if it was the building of the city tower that displeased God.
Did anybody get it?
We wrote tower and city.
Yep.
Last question.
Last question.
Oh wow. I missed. Oh no, this is. I didn't put my mark down.
What did God do to stop the building of the Tower of Babel?
What did God do to stop?
The building of the Tower of Babel.
Can't really see my writing, but we
You
going.
ready?
I'm
Uh
ready.
No, wait.
oh.
Okay, now I'm ready.
All right, and flip it. Confuse their speech. Confuse the language. Confusion of languages.
Mm-hmm.
All right, all of us got it right. This
All
is
right,
what
so
we
next
do.
time we're not gonna do multiple choice,
Nope,
right?
no multiple choice.
Okay.
We just gonna have to write it down from the dome.
That
Write
wasn't
it.
too
Got
bad.
Nah, I thought we did good. It
yeah.
was still
God, let
fun.
us know. Let us know how you did on the quiz in the
Yeah,
comments.
I had a good time. That was fun. I feel like we could have did 24, and we'd have been fine.
That was
Yeah, it
fun.
didn't take that long. That was
Nope,
good.
not at all. But I
Shout out
think
to
that's
Toby. Thank you
good.
for helping us. You are free to go because I know you don't want to sit here and listen to us
Hey,
talk for the rest of the time.
let's give it up for Toby.
I'm tired.
I'm supposed
All
I
right.
got like a sound thing somewhere around here. I don't know where it is because I would give you some
The bim bim
applause.
bim bim. Ain't no
Nah,
sound thing on
I
here.
can't do that, but once a episode.
For our resident millennial.
Is right. Uh, quiz is done. So now we get to do our chapter by chapter recap.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, let's start. Let's start at chapter one. We'll start with the Gen Zer. You want us to start with you, Gen Zer?
Okay, we can start with me. And I think that all of my highlights of the chapters are going to be so boring, but it's because I knew so little, I think, about the story of creation, and I had
Mm-hmm.
such like a just a misunderstanding about how it all happened. I'm gonna see. Let me just. I would pull out one thing that I just thought was interesting. Okay, so like in general, the order of events I was profound to me
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't. So like, and I, as humans and human nature, we put things where they don't necessarily belong. So if the text doesn't explicitly say it, then we have to be careful to put things in that place. So, like for example, in chapter one, when light and dark was created, my mind went to okay, the sun and the moon were created, but it doesn't say the sun
Yeah.
and the moon were created, and I that shook me because I always thought it was okay, cool, like. The sun was put in the sky, and the moon was put in the sky. Okay, now we have night and day. We have light and dark. Okay, that makes sense. That separates the two, but that's not what was written here.
Yeah.
The two were distinguished from each other. Light and dark was distinguished from each other, but we don't see that specifically written here. And then I think too, another thing I thought was interesting too. We have a lot of talk of water, and we went really deep into that in the actual episode. Go watch chapter one if you have not. But something that I also just like threw in there that's not written right in this part was that if we have water and we have water at the heavens, then we have water down below. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
we must have rain. Like, we must have, have these things that what you would associate with water up above. I just thought that was a standout for me only because it was like knocking down like myths and misconceptions
Mm.
that I had
Right.
about what day one looks like.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. What you got, Moyo?
Um, Something that stuck out. The discussion on the Trinity and
Mm-hmm.
like it being first introduced here, as well as just everything being good. Like at the end of each
Yeah.
thing that God is making, He's like, okay, this is good, this is good, this is good. And I think it sticks out because as we were going through the rest of the chapters, you start seeing things that are not necessarily good, but they weren't created that way. and we had that conversation. Maybe this was for chapter 2, but we had that conversation when we were talking about Eve, and was she created bad, like because she
Mm.
did what she did, where chapter 1 we're told no, everything is good.
Everything was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one too. I think for me, the big takeaway was right there in verse 2. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. And as we went through, and I think this may have been something you were talking about the expanse, but as we go through, I think I looked at that a little differently because of what we see happen later in Genesis and and what happens later in Genesis with the flood, what it represents, what I think it represents. So this question was brought up like, what was this? And I think we said it was like a metaphor. And I think I'm still like, is it a metaphor? Or is it real waters? Is it meant to symbolize chaos and then the retreat back into that chaos later? Or was it really just the starting point that God had and it was this formless, void, chaotic water area?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I'm still somewhere in there being tossed around till I settle on something. So yeah, that stood out to me. That stood out to me. Good, cool. Next, chapter 2. What you
Okay, I
got,
have
Moyo?
one. Oh,
You can go first.
You
You
can go
sound
first. I'll
excited.
be trying to mix it up, but if we don't need to, we don't need to. What you got,
okay.
Jasmine?
Only so I just thought this was
You
interesting.
was
I should
itching to
briefly.
go, weren't you? You were like,
I was.
I'm
I
ready to
was.
go.
Because it's funny. This part, like there's a piece in here that we talked about in the episode, but I thought was so funny because my mom said to me before we read it, and then once we read it, I was like, "Oh, this is so interesting." So something my mom always tells me is like, you have to stop and smell the roses, and
Uh-huh.
that doesn't mean you have to. You're being lazy. That doesn't mean that you are like you can't do certain things. It just means that you're taking a second to appreciate all that you've done thus far.
Mm-hmm.
And when we look at the Lord resting on the seventh day, I kind of liken it to something similar because there's on one hand there's some people who think that God rested because he was tired,
Mm.
which no. I absolutely don't think that's the case. I liken it to smelling the roses. Like let me out he wants to step back and just admire and appreciate the things that he has done because
Mm-hmm.
he did a lot and
Yeah.
created all things.
Yep.
So I saw it more as like an appreciation as opposed to I'm tired. The Lord is can do all things. I'm not gonna sit here and say, okay, he was a little sleepy after 6 days of working. I'm not gonna. I don't think so. But I found that so funny because right before I went over, like right before we got here, I was on the phone with my mom and I was just telling her like, oh my gosh, I'm doing so much stuff and it's just I'm so overwhelmed. It's just like you got to take a second to smell the roses after a lot of hard work, and it just was
Mm.
so it was just really interesting seeing like having the two happen around the same time helped me to understand this better.
Yeah. Cool. All right. All right. Moyo, what you
Um,
got?
Mine is and I think I talked about we talked about it in that episode, and I made a reel about it where Adam is put to work like
Yeah.
immediately, and that will probably stick with me for a long time because
Yep.
so much happened on day 6. Even in the quiz, we talk about animals and humans being made, but on
Yep.
top of that, humans. Adam is put to work, and then Eve is created. He sees this woman, gives his little dissertation about her, and then like all of this is one day. All of this is happening. And so when we talk about God doing so much in one day and accomplishing so much in one day, you really see it in this
Yeah.
chapter.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we make it sound so simple when we talk about, oh, he made the heavens and earth, that's one day. Then he made this and that's one day, and this, that's one day. Like it just sounds like, But then
Yeah.
when you read chapter 2 and they're breaking down, okay, this is one of these one days, it's like,
Hmm.
wait a minute, this one day is a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not like, yes, he says it with his words and it happens, but also there's a lot more that's going on
There's a
that
lot
we
more.
don't even think about.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. You stole mine because that was going to be one of mine because I can still see that reel now when we were talking about it, and that stuck out. The other thing that stuck out to me, and I never noticed it before. I always knew that Genesis was big on generations, but it wasn't until we sat down in this reading of it where when you start off in verse 4, it says, "These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created." So it's like the heavens and the earth and the generation of that produces everything that we see, including what's really focused on in Genesis chapter 2, which is man. So it's like we were spawned from the earth, Adam and Adamah, right, Jasmine?
Mhm.
Man and the ground. Um,
Mhm.
so that sticks out to me, as well as the fact that Adam was working like crazy, naming all them animals, and then had to be put to sleep to be operated on. So he had
Mhm.
a full day. Oh man. Next up. Oh, we might all have the same one for this one. Chapter 3. We fall down.
You start. I don't. Yeah, you start this time because I don't want to say what you're gonna say.
Okay, I can start. I think for me, the big standout here and is so much, but I'm going to go with obviously the big thing to me is the proto euangelion, Genesis 3:15. I mean, I think no matter how many times I read this chapter, that's always going to be the standout for me because I look at that as the beginning of God stating what his ultimate plan is for man. Um, yeah, as much as we see the man is the pinnacle and all that has been set up, that's good. Even after the fall, God still has the plan that will ultimately reconcile his creation back unto himself. So that's the standout for me.
Okay. I gotta pick something else.
You don't have to. It can be the same thing. You may not have the same reason I had.
No, I think okay. So the and I think similarly, prior to that, higher up, the when the woman goes to take partake in the fruit that she was not supposed to have,
Hmm.
and gives it to her husband who does not put up any kind of fight. That stuck out to me. Like, no, girl, put it down. You know we wasn't supposed to be eating the right, smacking out her hand, or at least if she okay, if she wants to partake, that's one thing. But maybe you like you knew what you were not supposed to do, so at that point, make a different decision. No, you were like, okay, it does look pretty good. I guess I'll go ahead and take a bite.
Hmm.
What? And you were specifically given instruction. The Lord didn't say it to the woman. The Lord was talking to you, sir. You are
Hmm.
responsible here, and you flopped
Oh, thanks.
horribly. It was terrible. That was terrible. That was kind of shocking to me because I thought that when this initially, like the fall initially happened, that at least Adam would have something to say, like maybe we shouldn't. Perhaps we should consider something else, but still takes a bite, but gives that little disclaimer, like maybe we should turn. No, nothing. I was appalled.
Oh, jeez. Tell us how you really feel, Jasmine. Poor Adam. He caught it
Uh,
right there.
do better, Adam.
Oh, thanks.
Um, dang, I be listening too hard, and now I forgot what I was about to say. Um, what was I gonna say? Chapter. This is chapter.
Chapter 3.
chapter 3. Okay, so I think that, oh, I know what it was. So the fact that God gives them the opportunity to come
Mm,
forward and explain the situation, and no one takes any accountability, right? And we talked about that, and we see that again later on. That is just like, and
yeah.
and and I'm not like Jasmine. I'd be like, listen, I do that too. I didn't do it. Did I get caught, or like, are you asking me because you already know, or are you asking me so I can still get out of this? So I get it, but at the same time, it's the shame that they're feeling that's causing them to be like, hey, we're in trouble. How do we get out of it? And so
Hmm.
now you have sin coming in, and it starts that ball that we talked about, in that, like, okay, you go from one sin to the next sin to the next sin, and it just
Yep.
keeps going. And it all started with eating a piece of fruit
Eating a
that
piece of
you weren't
fruit.
supposed to eat.
I mean,
Then it went to, I guess it's still lying, like being like, oh well, this person did this and this person did this, and that's all. It's all lying.
yeah,
It's all sin.
it is.
So yeah,
It, there's so much. I mean, there's really so much in that chapter. I'm trying to think. So when we did, was it Genesis 41? We actually broke it up into two episodes. I feel like we could have done the same thing with chapter 3 because there's just so much there from, okay, like we brought up in the episode, and I'm a vamp a little bit, so if y'all don't mind, if y'all, but like we brought up in the episode, right? Did Adam really tell Eve the right thing? I think he did. I want to say we came away agreeing that he did and that she messed it up. If not, then tell me I'm wrong.
I don't think
But
I came away with that, but
okay,
I think I came away with we don't know.
okay, all right, and
Yeah,
that's cool. So we've got that, the transmission of that message to the serpent, and who is this serpent? The serpent, is it Satan? Is it a legless lizard? Is it good to call it a snake? Could it be an earthworm? To why did she even eat of the fruit, and what does that really tell us about mankind? Right? And then you get all the way down to the end where um well, not even to the end, before that, when okay, they messed up, they go from being naked and unashamed to now having to cover themselves with fig leaves, and to end it up, right? If you get all the way to the end, you see that God winds up providing covering for them. So there's a lot in that chapter to pick through. And honestly, I don't know how y'all feel. It's probably the most pivotal. Say that 5 times fast. Pivotal chapter in Scripture. I mean, if you think about what it means, you think about how it changes history. You think about what it ultimately leads to in terms of Jesus. To me, this is a pretty pivotal chapter. I don't know. I mean, do y'all agree? You think
yeah.
so?
And I think it also shows, like, the first example of God's mercy towards us. Like, he could have just been like, all right, never mind. But
Yeah,
he was like, no, I'm just going to take them out of here and protect them from things getting worse.
yeah.
And things still get worse, but not as bad as they
Not as
could.
bad, right? I wholeheartedly believe that. That's good. That's good. All right, cool. Next chapter, chapter 4. Not
Things start getting
like
worse.
this. Exactly.
hmm
Uh, what you got for us, Jasmine?
Okay, so I and I guess it sticks out to me because I struggled with it initially to figure out like what it really meant. But when Cain and Abel were bringing the Lord their sacrifices, and
Mm-hmm.
then the Lord said to Cain, "Oh well, Cain's offering had no regard."
Mm-hmm.
He was very angry, and the Lord said, "Like, why are you angry? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And
Yeah.
at first I was thinking, okay, that means like you have an opportunity to do right. So, and if you do right, then you will be accepted.
Mm-hmm.
But initially I was like, okay, well, he bought an offering, he did what Abel did. But it was more so about like his heart posture and
Yeah.
how you come and how you give. And if your heart posture is not right and the Lord knows your heart, then you're not going to get as much recognition, praise, any of that regard in comparison to someone like Abel. When he gave his sacrifice, he gave with a pure heart. Like the difference was hard for me to identify initially, but I think that, and as we see, like Cain just he kind of went on a deep end. As we talked about, we went from disobedience to murder, and I was just so confused. And then, oh my gosh, I listened to a commentary that was talking about the distinction between murder and then killing when
Mm-hmm.
there's justice is involved, versus murder, which is like premeditated, and how like the Bible talks about that and talks about the distinction. And even in today's society, like there is somewhat of a distinction, like
Mm-hmm.
when people get in trouble and you look at charges and stuff, and how that whole thing works out. But just looking at how Cain, like how it spiraled so quickly, I was like, the Lord said that He tried to give you a forewarning.
Right.
He told you. He also told you that if you do not do well, sin is crouching at your door. Like there's, I don't know. It was an interesting little piece for me, especially because, like I said in the beginning, I was a little bit confused why Cain's he did, and like in sheer action he did the same thing, but
Mm-hmm.
it was what was behind the action that kind of changed how the Lord responded to him versus Abel.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. What you got, Miss Moyo?
I the thing that stuck out to me is Lamech and Lamech's like misunderstanding of Cain's situation, right? Because again, God is showing mercy towards Cain,
Mm-hmm.
and Lamech takes that as, oh, we can kill people.
Oh
Hmm.
That's
gosh.
fine. Like,
Lamech
it's
went in.
perfectly fine. Cain did it, and vengeance is the Lord for him. And so, why not for me?
Right.
And I think people do that. So, again, it's just one of those things that you're like, we see it in the beginning of the Bible where people are taking what God is doing and twisting it and making it to what they want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And Lamech is singing about it. And he's like, it's just not a big deal to him. There's no
Right.
regard for rules, there's no regards for life, there's no regard for consequences and punishment. It's just like nothing's gonna happen. Like it's not that many of us on earth. Like we're fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do what I want when I want.
Jeez. Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Oh,
So
Lamech was a wild dude. Oh
crazy.
man. I think what stood out to me from this chapter is just, I think I said it in the episode. The sass of Cain. Am I my brother's keeper?
Mm.
Where's your brother? Am I my brother's keeper? I don't know where he is. I mean, to the straight out, no qualms, no cares. Act like you're not worried about repercussion lies. Just straight up. I know we said Adam and Eve lied, and they did a bit, but I think Adam was trying to be more slick, and Eve was telling the truth. Adam was like, "Nah, it was the woman," and hey, Lord, it was a woman that you gave me. And Eve said it was a serpent. Serpent tricked me. But Cain is just like, "Nah, I don't know. I don't know where he is. I don't know what happened to him. I think I saw him walk that way. He might went back to his sheep or whatever." So that stands out to me. Just, and we talked about it already. Just that continued downward progression
Mhm.
of of man from the original sin that happened. I wanted to touch on something real quick. Nothing's ever quick with me, but um, so when Desmond, because you brought up a good point with the heart posture, and
Yeah.
so if we were to bring that, I mean, not even just to today, but I feel like that tells us how we should, how. Let me know how y'all think of this. What we bring the Lord should be a representation of how we feel in our hearts toward the Lord. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I don't I don't bring no junk to somebody that I have a high esteem for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't bring messed up stuff trying to get over to someone who I really care about. And so I think even in that episode we talked about apples or the fruit that was probably on the ground it could have been or something like that. I
Mm-hmm.
don't bring that type of stuff to someone that I esteem highly. So I think there's
Yeah.
something about that heart posture thing that you were talking about, Jasmine, that should inform us of what we should bring even now.
Mm-hmm.
Do we give our best? Do we, just do things halfway and expect for the Lord to be pleased with it?
Yeah.
So, all right. Chapter 5, we are family.
It's a genealogy one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to hear what y'all got to say.
Oh my god.
Uh,
Let's see. Okay.
I'm gonna. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, you go.
No, I was just gonna say the one that stuck out would be, who is it? Enoch?
Yeah.
No. Yes, Enoch.
Yep.
Walked with God, and after he fathered Methuselah 300 years, had other sons and daughters.
Mm-hmm.
And these are his days. Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for the God took him.
Yep.
And who else even matters? like, he didn't have to die, which
No.
was the punishment.
Right.
We were talking about in chapter 11,
Three.
was it, where we were talking about how
Oh
they
yeah.
didn't end it with the fact that everyone had to die, but here it's like, no, you
Yeah.
lived, you died, you
Yeah.
had your kids, you died, and then except for you
Yep.
were good,
Yeah.
and you didn't have to be here so long. Like,
Right.
just
Mm-hmm.
come on
Oh,
before you mess up. Let's go.
I mean, it could. I don't know about y'all. Maybe it's because I'm old now, but I just get so much fatigue from all the stuff that goes on in this place.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, Maranatha, come, Lord Jesus, come quickly, because these people is going crazy. Just help me.
Mm-hmm.
So some of it is like, maybe he was just like, hey, just come get me, because these people's they're getting too wild out here. What you got,
Mm-hmm.
Jasmine?
So I thought that the end with Lamech fathering Noah,
Mm-hmm.
because of the call in his life. So when he said, "Out of the
Yeah.
ground that the Lord has cursed, this one shall bring us relief from our work and from the painful toil of our hands." I thought that
Mm-hmm.
was so powerful, especially because, like I said in the episode, we have like today we when you name children, you try to give them something that is meaningful. You try to speak positive and meaningful things over their life. But this is big. It's a
Yeah.
pretty big one, especially because of like we see the dramatic exponential growth in evil
Yeah.
the past couple of chapters or past few chapters. So to see like Lamech say, yeah, like he's gonna bring us relief. Like this is going to be. It's kind of like your saving grace.
Yeah.
It was just powerful to me, and we ended on that note, which was nice. Instead of like having, even though who do we see in here? Yeah, the Lamech still dies, but still,
Yeah.
like, it still was good to see. Not only did we see the call in his life, but then we see that he was able to father three children. So
Mm-hmm.
it was a good kickoff for what's to come in the next couple chapters. So I enjoyed that part.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. I think for me, it was. And so this is one of the longer genealogies. It's sort of sprinkled in at different places. But even this one here, it used to be when I got to these, I was just like, okay, just a bunch of names. But
Mm,
now, and we've said it in the podcast over several episodes, I look at them completely different because the intent of the author is to move us somewhere, move us from where we are now. In this case, move us from Shem, right? Who is of the line all the way down through to Noah. After looking at what the line of Cain wound up giving us in Lamech. So
mhm.
I have a newfound respect for genealogies um, because of what their purpose was, particularly in Genesis. All right. Chapter 6. I can't stands no more.
Let's see. Oh, oh, okay. Something that I found interesting, especially because we talked about it like several times over the past several episodes, was the 120 years.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that conversation when we did chapter 6, but knowing whether or not that 120 years was the from then until, did we say the flood? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if that was going to be like lifespan eventually, or like what is that 120 years, what is the significance. I thought that was just a fun conversation. And then with that, I have to add this too, the Nephilim conversation. I also thought was really interesting because I don't know if we ever settled on one way or the other. It was kind of like we just threw all of our ideas out there. But even reading the commentaries, you have people who lean so strongly that the Nephilim was like this separate group of people that were like giants. But then the question is like, was the Nephilim already there? Was the
Mhm.
Nephilim like, how did we get like how did we get the Nephilim? All of that was so intriguing to me. I was doing a little bit of research just to see what other people thought,
Mm-hmm.
and it takes you into a rabbit hole. But I just I just found it pretty cool that there's like a, I mean, I think a lot of Genesis is contested. There's a lot of different
Mm-hmm.
opinions about it in general, but this one in particular felt like, and I'm cautious to make the comparison, but like certain things in Greek mythology, they're
Mm-hmm.
like, let's dig a little deeper to understand like what the origin of this is, or did these beings just appear? Did they
Right.
have special power? Like all of that,
Mm-hmm.
it just cool. It's a cool little piece of the story that doesn't make or break the overall message, but it was still an interesting piece
Yeah.
to read.
Yeah. That's always an interesting to when I was looking at chapter 6, I was like, uh-oh, we gonna get into it.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot going on here.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. What you got, Miss Moyo?
I guess two things. You see how wicked man becomes. So
Mm-hmm.
even with all of the trying to help us out,
Yep.
we still, it says the heart, every intention of the thoughts of his heart was
Mm-hmm.
only evil continually. Like, that's a lot.
That's crazy, honest. I mean, come on.
And maybe I
Hmm.
should have even started it from the beginning. So this is verse 5. The Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every intention of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Like,
Man.
it's a lot. But we have the hope in Noah
Mm-hmm.
because he's seen as a righteous man and blameless in his generation. I feel like them putting that in there is like, listen, yes, he's righteous and all of that, but in his generation, like relax a
Right.
little bit on him when he starts doing crazy stuff later.
Down the road.
Like, we're comparing here. In
Yeah.
comparison to these crazy people, he was a saint.
He was
Like,
right.
that's how I started reading it when we got to the next chapter. And I think Jasmine, you were like, "Oh my goodness, Noah,
Right.
you be real quick to judge these people. Let them listen."
I know.
In comparison, he is a saint.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think we also said that Noah's righteousness may not necessarily have been, it may have been more of a favor type of thing that God saw him. His standing was probably, in terms of how he was related to everyone else, was probably, head and shoulders above. But there's no one that's really like righteous that can be, you know, walk up to God like, yo, I'm him. No, we can't.
Mhm.
Not even Noah. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I like both of those things that we talked about. I think the thing that sticks out to me also is just the obedience and the perseverance of Noah, because I know I kind of went back on him being righteous and being like the really, really good one, but he still has to be obedient in carrying out um what the Lord called him to do. Because if he doesn't, then everything's wiped out. So his obedience sticks out to me. And I mean, building this ark as big as it was no. I mean, I'll be at work and I got to read like a 20-page document. I think I'd be having ADHD or something, or ADD, because I get to page 3 and I'm like, okay, what else is there for me to do? Because I'm sick of reading. He stuck this thing out for, as we talked about, probably 120 years to get this ark built up. So that's some perseverance and some obedience right there. Next up, that was chapter 6, right?
Mhm.
Chapter 7. Can you stand the rain? What we got?
Well, you go first.
So I what stood out to me? I think it was just the way everything seems so organized for the boarding of the ark. Like
Mm,
the animals go on, Noah goes on. It's not saying like, oh, he wrangled everything and got it on. They just
yeah,
followed the commands and went on and
yeah.
situated themselves. And yeah, just I imagine it being a peaceful thing. Like there it was order. It wasn't chaos. It wasn't like even with the people around them that could have been watching, they're just looking at this like, okay,
Oh,
like that's
right.
what's happening. All these animals are just going past y'all. First of all, why aren't y'all freaking out? I'm sure they were. That's one of those other questions I need to ask when I get to heaven. Like, what were y'all doing while y'all watched these animals go on here two by
Right.
two? Like, you didn't think maybe I should chill on what I'm doing and I should go see what Noah is about. Like,
Right.
animals don't do that.
Right. Why they
But
why they walking in pairs?
Mhm.
Why they all going that way? Yeah.
yeah, I would have been like, "Excuse me, sir. Can I
Mhm.
can I join?"
Can I
Like
get on too? Oh man, that's wild. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. All right, Jasmine.
It, it makes me think too with the same something similar is like what was everybody doing? Because they saw him, they had to have seen him building this ark over all of these years, and saw the animals and saw that. So like, I wonder if people were like, "Hey, can we join you?" Or like,
Right.
"What are you doing?" Like, or like pointing and laughing. Like all of that is, I think, is cool too. Now, something that I thought the flood was interesting only because the flood is one of those things that is actually studied like scientifically. Scientists, they say that they found like remnants of things that prove that the flood happened, and I just think that's cool
Mm.
because anytime that there's like discourse about whether or not events like this in the Bible actually happen, and then they go out and they find like just different landmarks that say like, oh, this only could have happened with rushes of high levels of water, and the bodies like small, like we mentioned actually in the episode, small things like streams. What's man-made? Lakes or rivers? Lakes?
I don't think either one of those are man-made.
Really?
The lakes aren't man. I mean, I guess they could be. I guess a river
Mm-mm.
could be man-made too.
Well, yeah, I guess you're right. I guess any of it can be if somebody digs.
Right. Wants to dig deep enough for water or whatever.
Yeah. Well, those smaller bodies of water weren't strong enough to create the massive like artifacts that they have now. And then thinking about like landforms and how those things got there, all of that, seeing that like today, and then reading through like how high the waters came and how long they were there,
Mm-hmm.
super interesting. I did not believe the flood happened. It's just that like reading about how drastic, like how serious it was and how high the waters were for a long time, and then seeing that like thinking about for like valleys,
Mm-hmm.
how could those be, and liken it to the flood. Oh well, when the flood was there, all that water was pushing this, is it called sediment, it was pushing
Mm-hmm.
and pushing it and creating these divots in between the mountains and stuff like that. It's interesting, and it kind of, I mean, it's in the Bible, and when it's in the Bible, it's supposed to be like, yep, okay, I believe it. And I try really hard to have that just be my initial thought, but sometimes it's a little bit difficult. But seeing the evidence and then putting the two together, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like that's I can. It's a lot easier for me to digest
Yeah.
seeing both.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Um, I think, and we talked about this season too, because I believe Jasmine, me and you said we're more the empirical type, where we like to
Yeah,
see the evidence.
yeah,
And I believe Moyo, you were like, I just trust in the Lord. I don't need all that evidence stuff. What the Lord says is what I believe.
Yeah.
And I think that Moyo's stance is a benefit as opposed to our type of stance, Jasmine,
yeah.
because I'm constantly in the struggle of, can this be explained by some sort of natural occurrence? Um, oh, I wanted to read something because we were talking about what the people were doing uh, during Noah's time.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew 24, um, yeah, verses 36, probably down to 39. And this is in red, y'all. So this is Jesus talking. And it says, but concerning that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son of Man, but the Father only. And I think he's talking about the day that he's going to come back, Jesus, after his ascension. And then in verse 37, for as were the days of Noah, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. For in those days, I believe they're talking about the days of Noah, looking in the past, before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day when Noah entered the ark. And they were unaware until the flood came and swept them all away. So will be the coming of man. So it almost makes it sound like they was just living their life. They
Mm,
wasn't thinking about Noah's 120 years of building up an ark. They was just there.
mm,
So so I think for me what stood out was just the control that the Lord had over the flood. All this water that we talked about. This is where my water thing from Genesis 1 even comes, because there's this water that's in the expanse, and this expanse is the sky. So it's like all this water that's vaulted up in the sky, and all of this water that's vaulted down in the depths, just all of it burst open and led to all of that flooding and water and sediment and rushing. And I mean, it's all the Lord doing this. It's almost like his power to keep things at bay is unmatched. Is
mm.
unmatched. So that's what stood out to me there. Um Episode 8, chapter 8. And so it begins again. What stood out to you in that one, Jasmine?
Are you
Chapter 8. So I really thought that the raven and the dove
Mm-hmm.
piece was cool. I thought it was interesting though because with the I believed that the reason why the raven didn't come back and the dove came back
Hmm.
until the dove didn't come back was because of where the water stood. So um the dove went out and came back, right? Or let me make sure I get the order right. She went
Hmm.
out and came back, then went out and bought back a branch, an
Hmm.
olive from an olive bush, and then went out and didn't come back.
Yep.
And I thought that that was, I was trying to like make sense of the reasoning, and I was like, well, maybe that's because, okay, went out and came back, there was nowhere to perch or there was nowhere to land. Went out and came back with the branches of an olive bush because that's the only thing that was, that the she
Hmm.
was able to get to, and
Hmm.
then went out and didn't come back because water had subsided.
Yeah.
So I thought that was I thought that was just an interesting way for Noah to do that,
Yeah.
to identify like where we stood. Of
Hmm.
course, I think it had already happened that Noah looked out of the window,
Yeah.
or like, so he was able to see, but like sending out one of the flying, it was one of the birds to assess the land, which is what I took that as, was cool. And
Yeah.
I don't, if I was on the ark, I wouldn't have thought to do that at all. I'd be like, well, I guess I'm gonna be looking out this window until I can
Right.
see everything underneath the water. Like
Hmm.
that would have been my my go-to thing. What I did find interesting though, and I need to dig a little bit deeper, unless one of you guys know, if that olive bush grew on the side of a mountain, or it grew at the top of the mountain, or it grew further down. Like I need to know. Like I'm curious because then it would be like either it was freshly grown, and I think we talked about it a little bit, but my mind was pondering it, like if it was freshly grown
Hmm.
or if it had survived. And like it wouldn't have survived underneath the water because everything was wiped out. But basically, my mind just goes to where it came from
Yeah.
and how in a relatively short amount of time. I mean, it was a while, but after a relatively short amount of time, a bush grew enough to have to noticeably be an olive bush and to have leaves already.
Yep.
In
That
Yep.
the
that
episode, we talked about it. The things with the breath of life were wiped out, right? And
Yeah.
right.
not necessarily vegetation. And I'm pretty sure I said something about it being an olive tree, not a bush, and
Hmm.
like the tree, they just plucked a thing off of a tree and brought it back because it was visible and dry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I think because you guys want the proof of things, that's why you're like, oh well, how does that happen? And I'm just like,
Cuz.
he just preserved all of the vegetation. Like what? It's not hard to understand. God did it.
Right, and that should be enough. But thinking about, okay, the water's all the way up above the tips of the mountains. Okay, the ark is up there floating all around until the days are like until the day it comes where it's gonna roll back and subside. But then there's vegetation under there that survives. But then if we get deep into it, there are so many plants that can live underwater, and they're perfectly fine. So I don't know. It just was interesting because I'm like, that. How did that happen? And how did it happen so fast? But I'll
Yeah.
just take it. I'll just take that it happened, and that's it.
I feel like it's easier to believe that it was preserved than it is to think that it grew overnight or like it just
Right.
grew randomly. To me, anyway, like
Mm.
God can preserve all of the stuff the way that it was because it didn't say that vegetation would be wiped out. It
Right.
said that things with the breath of life would be wiped out. And
Hmm.
trees, I don't think have the breath of life, so I'm assuming they would make it.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
we also talked about like what food would they have to eat once they got off of the ark if everything was wiped out.
Right.
They
Yeah.
did take food on the ark, but is that enough to sustain you until another tree can grow? Because trees don't grow in a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
All
mean
right.
that whole time, I think because I'm with you. I'm like. Lord, you said that the earth was destroyed. So, which to me means nothing. But
Yeah.
the fact that they were on an ark for as long as they were, the fact that they didn't run out of food, how much food did they actually take on that thing
Right.
and they survived? Um, the fact that, I don't know, I'm guessing most, if not all, of the animals survived in those conditions. I think it's just, I'm coming to the realization that I think it's just God's hand on all of this. So he's just causing stuff to happen.
Okay.
And in chapter 7, it's repeated multiple times. All flesh died. All things that move died. All things like animals and this and this and this and this. And it just never says plants.
Yeah.
Even though
Well,
plants were called out in creation,
yeah, they were.
things in the seas were called out in creation. And those two things are not called out here as
Mm-hmm.
being destroyed,
Yeah.
or even light and day, that's not called out here as being destroyed. So there's things in creation that are specifically called out as these things are being destroyed here now, when we were talking about all the patterns of, oh, they keep repeating this and this over and over,
Hmm.
and then here we took out plants and we're
Right.
just talking about the swarming, and we took out fish, or what was it, sea animals, or
Yep.
however it was written. Like those things are taken out. Some of them may have died when the land dried up, but for the most
Right.
part they lived.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, they got caught up in sediment rolling under the water, but they didn't have to die because of the flood.
Mm-hmm.
Water didn't kill them.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, and we talk about this. The good thing is yeah, you may have that kind of question, but that question doesn't take away from the working of God and believing Him and knowing and understanding that He actually sustained Noah and his family through, this event that happened, this catastrophic event. Yep. I don't know if you went, Moyo. Did you go for chapter 8?
I don't I don't think I did. I will go with the altar that Noah made at the end once
Oh,
he got off of the ark. Um, that stuck out to me because it was called out that he brought some extra clean animals that I
yeah.
failed in the quiz, but
Yep.
we those are part of what were used in
Yep.
making a sacrifice.
Yeah. But you won't forget how many clean pairs of animals were brought
I,
on
I probably
anymore.
will. I probably will, but it's fine.
Yeah. That's cool. That's a good one. I think the thing that stuck out to me was um it should be in here. Yeah, right after the altar. What's this? Verse 21. And when the Lord smelled the pleasing aroma, the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground because of man, for the intention of man's heart is evil from his youth. Neither
Mm-hmm.
will I ever again strike down every living creature as I have done. It's like we went through all of that. We found someone who could be the remnant, the one who could preserve, and man is still the same way,
Mm-hmm.
even after all of that. So it's it's in us. It's in us. So that's what stuck out to me. All right. Next up, chapter 9.
Mm-hmm.
We fall down again. What you got,
Yes.
Jasmine?
So something that, and we didn't get to talk about this, so it's gonna be interesting seeing what you guys think.
Hmm.
Um, I I thought it was interesting when who came in first? Was it Ham came in
Hmm.
first? Yep, and saw his father was naked and drunk. Um, so when the other two sons came in and covered him, but then Noah got woke up and cursed Ham's son, right?
Hmm.
Canaan.
Yep.
I thought that was interesting, but when I read I was listening to one of these commentaries, and he was saying he doesn't believe that this was like cursing the son on behalf of the father's wrongdoing. It was more so understanding that the effects of Ham's actions would have a ripple effect on his lineage and on mankind. Like there would be further effects that go beyond Ham himself. Was the point of cursing Canaan? I don't know where I land on that. I struggle. I highlighted it and like made a note because I was like, I don't get where, and I was like, let me make sure that Canaan did not participate. But then it is noted in here multiple times. You have Ham was the father of Canaan once at the beginning in chapter
Mm-hmm.
18. You have Ham the father of Canaan in chapter 20 in verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it said, and everything is intentional. So I know that there's a reason why it's called out so many times and why there's a point, like I know that there's a point to that being there. I just don't know whether like where I fall on the reason why he was cursed instead of the father being cursed for his actions as after they happen.
Yeah. I don't know. Moyo, you got something for that? I think you actually talked about that.
Yeah, I think in the episode, I talked about the fact that it may have been just a harsher punishment to curse your son because he had other children. So just choosing one and cursing that, if I think if you go by what you were saying originally, that it's a ripple effect, then all of his children should then be cursed. But I think because he calls out one and curses him, it's more of like a, I want to make sure that you understand the weight of what you did. And I think in the episode we talked about, it's not, he didn't do anything sexual because that's what people think happened here, but that it was just the fact that he didn't protect his father, right? He didn't protect the vulnerability of his father. Instead, he went out and kind of exploited it and told his brothers, like, hey, daddy's in there naked. Like, instead of protecting him like the brothers did, they didn't even look. They just covered their dad and kept it moving and didn't make a
Right.
big deal out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is him. I think that Noah is then cursing the son as a, like, you, or I don't know, maybe Chris, like if somebody did something to your kid, you're like, why couldn't it just be me, right? Why you would rather take the burden from your kid than to see it
No, no, I
happen to your
wouldn't. Let it
kid.
get him. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Most people, no, not even most people, because some people actually don't. Some people are crazy, but I think that for a lot of parents, you don't want your kids to suffer things. So when they have to take a punishment, even if it's for you or if it's for themselves, you are like, I'd rather take it. But we don't know. Like it was just all speculation. Like I
Yeah,
don't really know.
yeah, I agree. Nothing else to say. I
Okay.
agree. All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good question though, because I think we talked through that a little bit. What you got, Moya?
The fact that they can eat meat now
Yeah.
because good times. Meat is delicious.
Mhm.
And you also can't just be killing people willy-nilly
Yep.
anymore. No more willy-nilly killings.
Yep. Yeah. That's what's going to be mine. The fact that this capital punishment, we talked about that in the episode too, was established then. It's established by God, so it's God mandated, and he
Mhm.
talks about even the fact that it would be carried out by a man. So I mean, it's one of those things where you have to wrestle with it, even in modern times, in
Mhm.
today's times, about how all of that really plays out. Just because of what we've seen with some of the stuff with people that we've seen on death row who have evidence come out that says, hey, they weren't even at the scene, or this
Mhm.
DNA evidence doesn't match theirs, and stuff like that. So it's a weird place to be, to try and
Mhm.
walk through that. So that and the bow. I don't know. So we talked about this. Do you remember, Jasmine, the double rainbow meme?
Mm-mm.
It's a
Um.
double rainbow.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my, a double rainbow?
Yeah. Yeah. I remember
See,
that.
Moyo and my wife would just looked at me like I had two heads when I said it. So
No, I
I still
remember
don't
that.
know about it.
that's all right.
Oh my gosh. What?
That's all right. On to chapter 10,
And
the nations.
Can I say I
honestly,
have nothing?
I was about to say, I don't. I.
No, I actually think this is pretty big because I think what a lot of people want to know and want to understand is like, how did the nations get here? And this is really walking through what makes up a nations and how they sort of glom together, right? And the land, the territory, the language that they spoke, the clans, the people, the culture, and the nations, the way that I'm sorry, the clans, the people, and then the nations or the culture, the political climate that help bring everyone together.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is to me the definition of a nation, and to see that the Lord sovereign hand moves in getting these nations to be formed that carry on in some way throughout history, um, is wild because you've got places like Egypt. Egypt is still there today. Kush, although I think we call that maybe like Ethiopia now, right? But Kush is, you say that, people still know what Africa. Put, I think that's like Libya. You say that, people still know it's Africa. So some of these things that are talked about, we hear later in scripture, and we even see today. So that's interesting. It's another one of those things where, similar to the genealogies, you read them, and when you first read it, you're like, it's just a bunch of names.
Mm-hmm.
But I've grown to have an appreciation for lists like this after going through these chapters this time. All right, chapter
Mm-hmm.
11, and you're a babble on MC. You babble on the microphone about what you wish but could never be.
Let
All
me
right.
see. Okay, I have.
Mm-hmm.
And I I said it in the last episode, and I'll just say it again, that the child producing age
Mm-hmm.
has decreased by a significant amount,
Significant
like
amount.
hundreds and hundreds of years. Which, it makes me think, what was happening. Okay, their lifespans were longer. We know that, but if are the things that you're doing when you're 35 now, like
Mm-hmm.
text now,
Right.
the same or different than what you're doing at 600 years old prior to now?
Right. Right.
Which I'm gonna lean yes, because even though lifespans are like a little bit shorter, maybe it balances out and equals, like it balances itself out somehow. But with seeing the dramatic like decrease, and then even not even just when they have children, but then the amount of years they live after that is quite low. I think the highest is what, 500 years after?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Noah was the highest, and he had 600 years total, 500 after the birth of his children.
And that's not even that's nothing.
That's right. We
That's
say that, right? Because we're looking back at 800, 900 years.
yes, yes, yes. That's insane. And I I just start to think, like, even comparing it to now, like if you jump to different time frames and like the lifespan of people, but not only that, the things, so like let's say early 1900s. Okay, let's say you live till you were 50. You
Hmm.
may have accomplished all the things that an 80-year-old now would have accomplished in their lifespan. But you would have done things like earlier on, if that makes sense. Like you would have had children, you would have had a job, a career, or whatever, and then you would have had a fulfilling life, whatever that looks like, and then you would pass. for someone who let's say lives to 80, let's say they have children when they're 45, I don't know,
Hmm.
instead of having when they're 20, like accomplishes the same things, but the stamps in which certain events happen, and depending on
Yeah.
what's happening, like the realm, the happening in the world at the time, happening now, happening at this time in the text, can vary why, like, can give more perspective into why they lived such shorter lives. I just thought that it was interesting.
Yeah.
And then in comparison to now, when people are living, we're living a decent amount of time. Not We're not
Hmm.
living 900 years.
No. Yeah, but yeah. Yeah, it's just interesting. That's one of those questions that Moyo likes to bring up. When we get to heaven, we can start to ask, so what was it like?
Hmm.
Living 900 years.
Yeah, when did it get rough? Year 800?
Right. Were you like young and spry until you were like 750 and then you
Yes.
started waking up with back pains for no reason, you know?
Hmm.
I
I need
So,
to
mean,
know.
Noah was building an ark at 500 years old,
yeah,
so
this is true.
Yeah.
he had to have been considered young.
Yeah, dude.
Oof.
Oh man. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. What you got, Moyo?
Um, my thing for this chapter is just the forced obedience. Like they were
The
trying
forced
real hard not
obedience.
to listen, and God was just like, "Not, please, not today. Like let's just. I'm just gonna force it a little bit this time.
Yeah.
I don't make y'all think y'all know y'all are doing it on your own, but I'm gonna help y'all out."
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I think is okay. I think sometimes, like, we have free will, but there are things that God has to kind of push us. Was it? I don't know what season it was where Jasmine was talking about. Do you get pushed or pulled, or like, do you walk with God, or does He drag you along, or something like that? I
Hmm.
can't remember
Yeah.
the exact
Yeah.
conversation, but it's like that. That is what I'm thinking of now. Like they refuse to just do what they're being told to do, which
Hmm.
is be fruitful, multiply, swarm the earth, spread out. And they want to be on top of each other, making cities and towers. Like, spread out. You have the whole earth.
Right.
For real.
Just, but I guess everybody was, I don't know,
Yeah.
extrovert and wanted to be together.
Yeah, they wanted to hang out. You said everybody wanted to be in the song Everybody Was Kung Fu Fighting. That came in my head. It's late, so bear with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um so for me, what stands out is the this theme that we've seen time and time again, where I get the juxtaposition of two paths. One that leads you to this place where you're being disobedient, and one that's being set up for the line that God is going to use to further on his plan. So we see that what's mentioned here in this chapter, we get down to Abram and his family, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with Abram and his family going forward as you continue through the rest of Genesis to see how God is working all of that out. But it's another thing, even just from the whole book, that I have enjoyed seeing is just this idea that there are these two sets of people that the Lord is continually pointing out. One that shows you with disobedience and not wanting to follow the Lord where you wind up, and the other that says this is what the Lord, this is who the Lord is working through. Even they not perfect, but the Lord is still working through them and the plan, his plan through the agency of people, as only he can. So, okay, that sticks out to me big time in this one. So that's it for our recap. Couple last questions. Biggest takeaway about the Lord God from Genesis chapter 1 through Genesis chapter 11? It's the biggest takeaway about the Lord.
I have okay, so I feel like mine is the same from the Joseph story, kind
Okay.
of. Just that the Lord has a plan that
Mm-hmm.
has to be executed one way or the other. And if that means resetting the earth, he's gonna reset the earth. If that means coming down and confusing the language of the people so they will actually like go forth, he can disperse them and they can go forth and have their own separate areas and groups of people like he originally said they had to do, then that's what he's
Mm-hmm.
gonna do. And I think I don't know, it's really, as we study the character of God and who God is, and then what the ultimate plan is, it kind of makes everything else a little bit easier to accept, just a
Mm-hmm.
little. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
still have a hard time sometimes, but if it is easier to accept the fact that there's a reason, and it may not
Mm-hmm.
be the reason that we want or
Right.
expect,
Right.
or a reason that makes sense to us, or even something that we can conceptualize, but the Lord. He, being who the Lord is, has this master plan and he's going to work it out
Yep.
using whomever, whatever he needs to use to make it happen.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. I like that. I like that. Well, y'all, what you got?
Mine, and I think I've said it a bunch of times, is just that God is merciful.
Mm-hmm.
And we see it from chapter, I guess it's chapter 3 with the fall. Or is that chapter 2? I think that's
Nope. It's
3.
chapter 3.
And yeah, and even with him wiping out the earth, it's like he was still being merciful. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's still just. Like all the things that we're seeing happening, like it could be worse. And sometimes if it was a man in that position, if it was man in that
Mm-hmm.
position, the way we would have handled it would have been much different and much harsher. The way Cain was handled would have been much harsher. The way Lamech was handled, I mean, he wasn't even handled, he
Yeah.
would have been handled. Like there's
Right.
certain things that God is allowing, and it's just showing that okay, he's giving us a chance, the same way he asked Adam and Eve, like, hey, y'all got anything to tell me? The
Right.
same way he asked Cain, like, hey, where's your brother? Do you have anything to tell me? Like he's giving the opportunities over and over, and it's your decision to take it or not take it.
Yeah.
And that is your free will. That's your free will right there. And he's going to allow you to enact your free will, but the decisions you make do have
Yeah.
consequences, and God will be merciful, but at some point we're all going to die, as we see in the genealogy, and you want to
Yeah.
figure out now before you die
Yep.
where you stand, right?
Yeah. 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 That's good. That's good. I think for me, it's similar. It's in a similar vein as yours. I found myself realizing, and it's something I already knew, but this sort of cemented it for me. God's going to deal with people however He wants to, meaning He dealt with the wickedness of mankind in chapter 6 by sending a flood. But then He says, I'm not going to do that, even though y'all still the same later,
Yeah.
right? He dealt with the wickedness of Cain by sending him away from him, sending him east and making him a wanderer. But he didn't deal with the wicked people of the flood that way. And so it's just you don't know. God has the right. That's how it should be said. God has the right to deal with His creation the way that He wants to. It's not going to be uniform. It's not going to be every time somebody does this thing the same punishment is meted out. There'll be times where He gives mercy, and that's what people get, and there'll be times when He gives judgment, and that's what He will get. That's what people will get, and all of it. God is still just. He's still righteous. He's still holy. He's still loving. He's still wise beyond anything that we could possibly think. So I think that's one of my big takeaways. I mean, along with you all, what you all said, right? Because both of those were good um, as well. So, but that's another one that I had coming out of these couple of chapters, these 11 chapters. So let's finish it up with the last question. Biggest takeaway about man.
Mm.
What's your biggest takeaway about man? Why you look like that?
Man
Why
is
you so
evil.
good?
Man is evil.
Yeah.
And it feels like we can't help it.
Mm,
And I don't know. I don't really
hmm.
know what to think about that because God has already said that that's what it is. And and maybe because we're still in the Old Testament, it feels like there's no hope. Like, it just feels like, I mean, if we're evil, we're evil. We're evil. Like, it just feels like you accept that and you just be evil, right? But that's because we're still here in this beginning and we haven't seen the plan that God has, right? We haven't seen what is to come if you haven't read the entire Bible. But if you are just following along and maybe you just joined us in this Genesis, like, oh, I want to start from the beginning. Let me skip ahead to Genesis with them. You may
Hmm.
come out of it feeling like, well, then what's the point? Like, man is evil. Like, y'all keep saying in every chapter that that's just what it is. Like, we fall and God is showing us mercy, but it just sounds like we're going to just keep doing that.
Yeah,
And we are, that's true, but there's also a way out and there's redemption, right? So I feel like I want to keep doing Genesis, but I also want to be like, can we jump to some good stuff, some happy times? But there's no
Yeah.
real happy times, like direct happy times. Like, you still got to go through, like,
yeah,
even if we go to this, like, the Gospels, there is still that, like, you got to go through the bad to then get to the good.
yeah, yeah. I find it interesting that you said, and let me know if I got this wrong, but it doesn't feel like there's any hope.
Yeah, in the first couple, and I know you're gonna go back to 3:15,
Yep, that's where I would
but
go.
yeah, but I think that without any real understanding of the rest of the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
that means nothing to
It means
people.
nothing. Yeah, okay. I can
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that. And you don't. Then this is a question. You don't feel like every sort of reset gives you the hope that maybe they'll get it right now. Like,
Mm.
Really?
okay, Cain and I mean, I can't. Adam and Eve were put out the garden. Maybe they'll get it right. Oh no, Cain messed everything up. But hey, wait, there's Seth. People starting to call on the name of the Lord. Maybe they'll get it right. Oh no, there. I mean, so each time when
It,
can you compartmentalize it to like when I get there, I'm like, ooh, maybe, yeah. That they let me
I
down
think
again.
because of the pattern, it just becomes like, and maybe I'm trying to think of it as somebody who's just coming into it. Like, I
Right.
can I can be like, oh yeah, there's hope. But as someone who's reading it, and even when you go, like, we read Genesis, then you read Exodus, and it's the same pattern over
Yep,
and
it
over and
is.
over. And that's why I think that's why the mercy part is important, because we're just we're just like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep reading it, I think you can easily get discouraged if you read the Bible in order, like the way
Mm.
it's laid out. And you may not ever make it to that part of the Bible, which is why I think we also started doing the invitation at the end to be like, no, it doesn't end here. Like, I know we're stopping right here, but this is
Right.
not the end. Like,
Yeah.
calm down, everybody. There's
there,
hope. There is
there is
hope.
hope. There's
But
there's real hope.
I get why
Tangible
people get
hope.
discouraged when they start reading the Bible and they're like, well, the man in the Bible who is supposed to be God is telling me that I'm evil. So
Yeah.
what am I to do about that?
Yeah.
and we don't get to that till much later.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Desmond, you got anything?
Honestly, I was gonna say man is evil too, and I was gonna say that because I think like we just see the what is it? What's the word like? Intentional, obviously, but it's the steady like desire
Mm,
to do, and even when presented with options to do right, man still does wrong. So I'm like, I don't, and I guess we're sinners, and that is what it is, and it's we're all gonna be sinners. When you're born a sinner, all that, but to see, and I mean, we do it now. I do it, but when you're given the choice, and the Lord is like, and I think we talked about this, like you're given the choice. You can go and do this, or you can go and do that. I mean, this is the way you should go, but the choice is up to you. And then we go this way. Oh my gosh, it just really makes me wonder if we'll ever like I've said this before, and I'd have to go and I have to read further in my Bible, but I've told my friend, I was like, there's going to be another reset, and I wonder if eventually we'll get to a point where the human race will do better, and if we'll have like a upswing, because even today I'm with, like how you said earlier, I look at what's going on in society like, oh my god, it's just getting, it's already bad, but it's getting worse. When do we have that trend that goes up? I mean, I don't know. It's, yeah, man, and I don't know what it is, because I say like willful disobedience.
mm,
Said that like in several of our episodes, and even in like the Joseph story too.
mm-hmm.
But sometimes, and I think more like you said, like I wonder how much of this is willful, and that gets into a whole other thing. Not to say that God is making man do evil, but how much of it is like you can't help it versus opting deliberately, that's the word, deliberately to make a choice that's completely contrary to what the Lord wants me to do.
Okay.
I don't know that, but yeah, man is evil. I'm on the train.
Yeah. All right.
Give us something different.
Yeah.
I'm trying to give us some hope in this.
Okay.
I,
um.
so yes, I'm not disagreeing with you, but to temper that, I think we need to remember that man is also made in God's image. We also need to remember that the Lord took special care to make man. So we are important in his eyes, even to the point, as we talked about from Genesis 9, where death and well, murder, not death, where murder would no longer be tolerated, although we have to work through the constructs of that today in these modern times. That the Lord has continued to provide a remnant to reconcile people to himself. So while I'm not disagreeing that, yeah, we got some problems. One thing that stuck out to me, and I've been this has constantly been running through my head, was I think, Jasmine, you talked one time about the outward and upward as opposed to the, I guess, downward and inward.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we as man think about that inward too much, where we want to be autonomous, where we want to be, you know, it's almost like that whole USA thing, would pull myself up by my bootstraps. We want to be those who, yeah, I'm man, I can do that. And God is continually having to say, you're man, you can't do that. Um, but at the same token, He cares for us so much. He loves us so much that he's willing to do things that we don't see in their totality, like you were saying, Moyo, in just these first 11 chapters of Genesis. It's almost like there's a shadow, a forecast of something there, because every time that you think that man should be completely wiped out, the Lord is still finding somebody to work through to get you to that next level so that he can continue to carry out his plan. So it's this it's a complex synergy that needs to be worked through, because man is not uh his nature is to sin. Her nature is to sin, and God's got to work something out to change that nature. And this is just the beginning of it. And it's just a foretaste of what we're going to see as we continue down the road. So, what do I think of man? I think that man is both evil, and I think that man is both love so profoundly that we can't really completely grasp the amount of love that the Lord God has for us. I think we've got a dichotomy and we've got both of those things going on. And it's hard for us to fully reconcile it, even even as we talk about it. How can I be this bad, but yet still be this loved?
Mm-hmm.
The only way that makes sense is in the Lord. So that's my final takeaway. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Good episode.
Good.
Go ahead. You had something, Moya?
No, I'm saying that's good. That's good.
Okay. Um, so I guess I'm not going to be long winded here. Believe Jesus, believe in who he is, believe he's the one who died for your sins, who was buried in a tomb, and who was raised on the third day. If you believe that, then you are saved. You are a believer in Jesus Christ. You have put your faith and trust in who he is, and you are part of that Genesis 3:15 we've been talking about. You've been now been sort of bought into that seed where now the serpent's head is crushed, and you can go and look at Revelation where it talks about no more pain and no more fear and no more sickness. You're numbered among that group now, as we look forward to the hereafter, even in times as such as now, so much tumult. So we ask that you believe. We urge you to believe. It's nothing that we can do. You have to do it. You have to believe. And if you do, we're so thankful and celebrating with you. All right. So with that said, we good. Anything else to close us out? Season
Like, comment,
three.
subscribe.
No.
Oh, go ahead, Jasmine.
Oh yeah.
No, just don't forget to do all the things because we even though we're wrapping up season 3, there will be more to come. You don't want to miss it.
Yeah, don't miss it. Oh man, again, I appreciate you too. It
Oh.
is a joy to do this for the third season. We got to talk about what we're going to do next. I'm excited about it though. And again, just know I appreciate you guys. All right.
All
So, with that
right.
said, folks, XYZers, XYZ Nation, we done. Season 3 in the books, Genesis chapter 1 through chapter 11. And we out of here. Deuces.
Peace.
Bye.